If you've ever felt like you're working hard but still not advancing, you are not alone. You're dedicated, you solve problems with ease, you go out of your way to get the job done, but despite your efforts, you may still feel like your career is not progressing as it should be. If that sounds like you, please stay tuned to today's episode because I'm going to be talking about why stepping out of your comfort zone is key to accelerating your career, some strategies to help you to break through the barriers that might be holding you back, and I'm going to share some super inspiring stories to support you to move forward fast. It's an episode that you're not going to want to miss, especially the second story. You're going to love it. Hey there, lovely lady, and welcome back to another episode of the 360 Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Lucy Gernon, and as always, you are so welcome here. If you are watching this on video, if I ever release my YouTube, I am in my office in a different part, so the background is going to look a little bit different. But yeah, you may not even be watching it. But anyway, we're going to get into it. So what I wanted to do today was to talk to you about the importance of stepping out your comfort zone if you want to accelerate your career. Because recently, in our last cohort in 360 Leaders Club, I did what I called a 1% comfort zone challenge, where for the first month we were in this challenge where I was supporting the ladies to step out of their comfort zone, because I know that your comfort zone is the thing that is keeping you stuck. But actually getting out of it feels icky. It feels disgusting. It's really, really hard, which is why I wanted to do this challenge. And it just got me thinking after the challenge, when I saw all the incredible results, I'll share some of them with you today, of things that the girls did about the importance of stepping out of your comfort zone. So for example, excuse me, we had one of our members who popped in one of her weekly wins in the challenge, where she negotiated with her boss to use her company time for the 360 activities as part of the challenge. So that was unbelievable, because she was afraid to even say that she had invested in herself and she had joined 360. And then in the challenge, she was like, feck it, I'm just going to tell my boss, I'm going to negotiate. And her boss, to her surprise, was fine with it. She also spoke to her boss in the same challenge about changing her hours to start an hour earlier and finish an hour earlier, which actually gives her time to cook dinner every day this week. And again, to her surprise, her boss was fine. So again, that was a really uncomfortable conversation. Like, can you imagine, it depends on your boss, but like actually asking, can I use some of my work time to focus on my development, even though it makes total sense, right? Or I really want to be able to cook dinner for my family, but I'm afraid to even say I want to change my work hours. This girl did that, and it's amazing. I just love, that's just one of the small things that she did. But it's not actually small, is it? Another one of our members said she was learning that she's not afraid and that she's having the tools to actually move forward. So again, in the comfort zone challenge, she said that her biggest win was learning. And she said she learned that she's not afraid to jump out of her comfort zone, but she doesn't do it strategically enough, and it shows in the lack of results. So she headed back to the toolbox that you get when you join, she says, to figure it out, and she wasn't feeling discouraged. So that was really, really powerful, that even just in the middle of it, she realized that the biggest reason she was starting to feel stuck again was because she just wasn't pushing herself out of her comfort zone. So I just want you to know that if you feel like you're in your comfort zone too much, you're not alone. Like, we all stay in our comfort zone because it makes us feel safe, right? But it's really important for you to break free of your comfort zone, because all the magic happens outside your comfort zone. And some people say to me, but I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Like, nobody's ever ready. Nobody is ever ready. Like, I feel uncomfortable, I'd say about 90% of the time when it comes to my business, because I'm showing up online, I'm telling stories, I'm sometimes going on Instagram, I've no makeup on, I'm, used to have this massive fear of being judged. But what I've learned is people are going to judge you anyway, so you may as well give them something to judge you on. So I'm going to say that again because I think it's super important. I think the reason a lot of us stay in our comfort zone is because we're afraid if we move out of our comfort zone, people are going to say things like, who does she think she is, right? Or what will they say? It's never about you. We always worry about other people. So other people are the reason you're playing small. But other people are not living your life, right? So that's why I know with certainty that when you break out of your comfort zone and you have the support around you to hold you, to celebrate you, to empower you, the tools, the motivation to support you to move forward, magic happens. Magic happens. I see it all the time. I remember I had a client once who she really wanted to go for this particular, I think it was like a senior or executive director role. And she was like, no, I can't because, the SVP who's interviewing really, he doesn't give interviews internally. He always goes externally. And my boss has told me not to bother applying. Great boss. And of course, I was like, do you want the role? And she said, oh my God, it sounds like a role I'd absolutely love. I was like, right, well then let's apply for the role. And she was like, but my boss even said there's no point. And I said, do you think there's a point? And she said, yes. So I gave her my CV template and we did a little bit of training. She submitted the CV and to her absolute surprise, she got the interview. And when she did the first round of the interview, she's still going through the process at the moment. The SVP said he was so impressed with one thing on her CV that he had never seen before. That's the reason. And her boss literally couldn't believe that she got the interview, which is another story. But I could believe it because this girl is amazing. She's so talented. And that's actually why if you're listening to this live, we will have just finished our 360 Leaders Club launch, and you'll have another opportunity to join before Christmas to start with us in January. But as part of this launch, I gave away my CV template and training to so many women. And if you talk nicely to me and you join us again for 2025, I might give that to you too. So now I want to talk about some key strategies, right? So some key strategies for you to move out of your comfort zone it's all about taking imperfect action, all right? It's all about taking imperfect action. So just remember, you are a small fish in a very big pond. You don't have to stay in just that one teeny tiny portion of the lake. You've got a big, bad lake to swim out to. And yes, there's some risks. Yes, there may be some dangers along the way. You may get hurt. You may get rejected. It's all part of the journey. It's all part of the journey. Rejection is just redirection. And so many of us don't want to move out of our comfort zone because we're afraid of what happens. But imagine if you were to start saying to yourself, instead of, oh my God, I'm afraid to do this, I can't do it. Imagine if you were to shift your mindset and just go, imagine what could be possible if I did this. So start thinking about what might go right instead of what might go wrong. I can't even tell you, when you make that shift, everything is going to change for you. Okay? Everything is going to change for you. I'm just going to have a quick look here while I'm on to you, because Katie, my podcast manager, just sent me a few screenshots from our community with some of the results from the challenge. So one of the girls, I'm not going to say her name because I don't have permission, but she said hang on there now. Oh yeah, so she said that she was away on holidays and she wasn't overly stressing about work. But there was delays, and she decided that she couldn't change the situation and decided not to stress about it. That's something that I advocate for all the time in our mindset and motivation calls when the girls come and they're feeling a little bit demotivated or they need a mindset shift. But she said she complained twice that week, which is totally out of her comfort zone because she normally doesn't. But she emailed the company that she'd booked the holiday with, and she was able to get it all sorted, and they were actually really grateful for the feedback. I'm not going to give away the full story because, again, I don't have her permission. And she also complained about cold meal on holidays. And again, she said that she stood up for herself, which felt great because, in 360, guys, yes, obviously it's all about career acceleration. It's all about balance. but we're all real humans, and the skills and tools that you learn in 360 are skills and tools that you can use in life as well, which is why I'm all about leadership and life. Because if you're the same person, and how you behave outside of work absolutely dictates how you show up in work. So while some of you might be thinking complaining about a meal might sound trivial, you might have the confidence to do it. It's absolutely not. It's absolutely not. And if you can do that, you can do anything in your career as well. Another one of our ladies, actually, I'm just reading here, she was really using her voice, and she said she reached out to a VP that she actually doesn't have a connection with, and she had made negative assumptions about them wanting to have a virtual coffee with her. And the VP said they're delighted. So she was delighted to be able to approach it with an open mind and an open heart. So these things are all about, building those connections, building strategic relationships, networking, because you never know when it's going to come back and when you're going to need it. So that's it for this week's episode of the show. I hope I've given you some food for thought. Life begins at the edge of your comfort zone. So what's one action you can take today that's going to push you one step further in your career or in your life? I'd love to know. If you're not already following me on Instagram or LinkedIn, please connect with me. Obviously, my name is Lucy Gernon, and that's my handle on both. On LinkedIn, I share a lot of content and tips for leadership. I share a lot of stories to try and motivate you in the workday. And then on Instagram, I do a lot of behind the scenes stuff. A lot of the followers on Instagram love when I share my dog Alfie. They love when I share my little makeup and stuff sometimes, and behind the scenes of my family. But as well, obviously, we're sharing on the grid career advancement tips and stuff on work-life balance as well. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, I would love for you to just literally go over there right now, click follow, and tell me what's one action you're going to take after this week's episode of the podcast. Okay, I'd love to hear it. And I would be there to celebrate and support and encourage you. And if you enjoyed today, there's a couple of episodes I recommend that you listen to. Episode number 59. If you're lacking the confidence to actually move outside your comfort zone, in this episode, I'm sharing 5 strategies to boost your confidence at work. And then episode number 137 is 5 mistakes that are stopping you from achieving your leadership career goals. And you're going to love that one. I get such good feedback on that episode because the mistakes, everyone who listens is like, oh my God, I'm making those. Or, oh my God, I used to make those. But now, since listening to your podcast or since working on myself or working with you in 360 or privately, I don't do that anymore. So you'll definitely resonate with the mistakes and make sure that you are not making them. So just to summarize, you've learned today, why you need to break out of your comfort zone and what happens when you stay stuck there. I've given you some strategies to step out of your comfort zone, and I've shared some stories with you to show you what's possible, that there are other women doing this. All right. You're not alone if you're doing it. It's normal and natural. You can do it. And if you want to reach out to me on Instagram, I would absolutely love that. Now, if you are looking for more, right now, 360 Leaders Club, the doors are closed. We will, like I said, our next cohort will be starting in January 2025. But in the meantime, you could check out my Executive Presence Blueprint course. This course has got phenomenal feedback. And if you just go to my website, lucygarnon.com/EP, it's going to take you to the course and you can read all about it. But there's 5 modules in there, all on how to boost your executive presence. I'm covering your personal brand, confidence, inclusive leadership. There is so much in there. It's jam-packed with tools. And some of the tips and the guides the girls have saved on their phone. I've got incredible feedback. So it's a self-paced course you can get through in your own time. You get lifetime access. So head over to lucygarnon.com/EP and you can grab that there. So that's it. This week's episode of the show done and dusted. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, hit that review button. I sound like I'm a YouTuber, but honestly, it means the world when you guys leave us reviews. Katie, my podcast manager, and I and Ali read them all the time, and it really, really helps my small business. So thank you so much for being a loyal listener, and I'll talk to you again, same time, same place next week. Bye for now.